All right, so I'm going to attempt to tackle a very complicated and complex subject, which is the subject of awareness, unawareness, consciousness, and unconsciousness, and how those particularly relate us to God and Source. These ideas are coming from and stemming from The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. So if you would like to reference that book, read it. It's a phenomenal book. This chapter, particularly on page 280, is the evolution of consciousness. Now, these ideas are very interesting because he speaks about how we are in a battle in humanity between awareness and unawareness. Now, let me just read the first prompt of this. The words aware and awareness have repeatedly cropped up throughout. Evil people resist the awareness of their own condition. That's why they're able to continue evil doings, such as war, just horrific humanity. A mark of the spiritually advanced is their awareness of their own laziness. So they've built in the awareness of their issues, their problems, their sins, their shortcomings. That is quite literally awareness, which is squashing the unawareness. People often are not aware of their own religion or worldview, and in the course of their religious growth, it is necessary for them to become aware of their own assumptions and tendencies towards bias. So once again, we're talking about the growth of awareness, even around something so secure as religion, where they're telling you, spoon feeding you the information. You then have to consciously bring awareness around that and understand your own bias in it, or understand what's propping up your own ego to make your said set of circumstances okay. Like, that's been my biggest problem with people in the Christian religion is they preach Christianity. They may even be preachers themselves, or pastors or youth pastors. And then meanwhile, they use that as an armor, and they are horrific people behind the scenes, like just the worst. And they justify it through this facade. And it's literally through unawareness. They have no awareness around what they are doing that is bad for them and humanity, but they justify it. Anyways, I digress. We move forward. Now, what's interesting about this is he now takes this topic of awareness and unawareness, how unawareness is for where evil comes from and blah, 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 blah. Okay, now we go deeper into consciousness versus the unconscious. What's interesting is he compares the unconscious to a godlike state, an all-knowing. That unconscious state is very interesting because you have to go within yourself to find the depths of answers, the knowing, the connection to source, the connection to God, which is within yourself. All these religions teach this as well. And what he compares it to is a rhizome, which is the network of rooting where the plants shoot off of from this network. And I showed a diagram here. And this is a Jung philosophy that we are the splinters of infinite deity. So we are literally the offshoots of this rhizome. And we become lifelike, we become human and express ourselves in the 80 to 100 years we're here if we're lucky. And the source is the rhizome. Now, what he doesn't talk about necessarily in this chapter, but I will say is I think people are connected to different rhizomes. Some people are connected to evil sourcing, evil sources. Their rhizome that they're pulling from is demonic. It's possessed. It is, it's evil, which is, we all know evil exists on this earth. So what rhizome are you pulling from? What roots are you pulling from? Another concept in here that's very interesting is he says that a lot of people believe the conditioning of evil comes from the subconscious or unconscious, and he actually believes, which I agree, is that's incorrect. We actually have our connection to the subconscious unconscious, which is the all-knowing God energy, which all lives within us. But your consciousness is affected through the ego, life circumstance, behaviors, family, friends, influence. And your conscious and unconscious are constantly at a battle with each other. So if you have trauma in this conscious realm, you're quite literally squashing your unconscious connection to God, which is peaceful, harmony, unity, oneness. So your condition in this life, how others have treated you, the story you've wrapped up within your ego of who you are and what people did to you. And I'm not saying those events aren't real. They are absolutely real. But that conditioning is squandering and squashing your ability towards source. Now, for all my Christians out there who are running to you need to be in Jesus and Jesus is the only way and we are talking about the same thing. We are talking about source. So if your source is Jesus, then yes, that's it. Your rhizome is to the Jesus, to the collective consciousness of that energy, okay, that exists within there. What he also explains is like when Christians explain Holy Spirit. Well, I felt the Holy Spirit. I was connected to it. I was deep rooted into it. That is you doing exactly what I'm talking about, which is you're connecting to the unconscious source of everything, of the universe, of God, of spirituality, of Jesus, of pure love. That is the rhizome that you are connecting to, the Holy Spirit. So where this gets confusing is now as human beings, we like to point fingers around. Oh, well, my way's right, you're wrong. I'm connected, you're not. War, bloodshed, like this is like a deep humanity disease that we want to other people. And what I'm explaining to you is something much greater than that, which is we're in a battle of conscious to subconscious. We're in the battle of ego and worldly desires and beings to the unconscious, which is all-knowing, all support, all wisdom, depth, far beyond you as your finite experience. The rhizome, remember? The rooting. Like you are just an offshoot. And this gets into another topic. What is your rhizome? Like, are you on Netflix watching horror movies and TV and you're just like connecting your subconscious to pure evil? Like, what are you going to be expressing in your life if your rooting is not within the all-knowing, the depths of God? Now, let's see, is there anything else on this that I want to speak on? Now, what he says is like, this is not the process of becoming God, because that's not possible. Like, we cannot. We are living in a world of for lack of a better term, sin. a world of things that are pulling at our physical body, the entropy that is pulling us down, that is aging us, that is testing us spiritually. But he says it is the awareness. It is to build awareness around your mortality as a human being, to build awareness around your infinite nature, your subconscious connection to God and Source. So, as a mature adult, you are able to see your shortcomings and choose different paths. You're able to see your propensities towards addiction and choose a different way. It is a maturing of the spirit. It's a maturing of the awareness. It's a maturing of your consciousness. It's your consciousness to know what's happening in front of you and to say, yes, that's happening and that's here. But my connection to God, to good sourcing, is going to choose something else. And I think that's where that inner thing comes from. You see somebody you want to help, you're just pulled towards it, or you're pulled towards an event, and it becomes this event you could never predict, but you just made somebody's day. You sourced into that God energy and you gave to somebody. That's what Jesus represented. Connect to Source, be with community, help others, reach down and help somebody that's not as fortunate as yourself, and remind them of the message of love. Remind them of the infinite connection to God and Source that they possess. Remind them that they are not defined by their conscious ego boundaries that are set on this earth that condemn us all. Isn't that the ultimate message of release and nirvana and peace and love and harmony? Is accepting yourself, accepting your flaws, and saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to work on this and bring awareness to it. So take what it is, take what this is, take what the message is. Try to release your lens of religion, politics. Release your conscious boxing that is happening to all of us, including me. But release the conscious blocking and understand that you need to connect to this rhizome of spirituality, of God, of all-knowing, of pure light, love, energy. This awareness dissolves evil. All right, stay blessed, friends. Shalom.